Welcome back. It's time for the News Schmooze.
So, Karm, what do you make of that? It's tough for me to say. I'll tell you. I remember doing a live shot in front of the Capitol when I was working for Fox News Channel with my favorite photographer of all time. Shout out to the great, well, Les Baker too, but to Phil LaCroix. Les actually wears my hat, so he's tied as my favorite photographer. But Phil LaCroix and I were out there, and a woman came up to us, and she seemed so incredibly normal. And then 5-10 minutes into it, she's the daughter of some famous senator. People were coming to get her. Obviously, a very paranoid, schizophrenic person, but she appeared to be very intelligent and with it at first. And we couldn't get her to stop talking to us. But Dr. Bear, I mean, he really seems...
Well, we saw him already,
Yeah, he seems incredibly genuine. What do you make of it? Is he?
No, I tell you what I make out of it, of this.
Yes, please tell me.
I think he's very bright, very learned, and because of his circumstances, because of this brain thing that he's experiencing, he researched it, and he has the medical background for it, and he has the motivation to learn as much as possible, and unwittingly through his condition, he became an expert on this field.
He just texted me, and I'm going to read it out loud, from Dr. Len Bear. Thank you, Joel. Please give Carmela my kind regards and thank her for her excellent questions. No one ever says thank you. It's unbelievable. And here you're sitting here. That was a real opportunity to tell my story, and I really appreciate it. I mean, he sounds like an incredibly genuine guy. I'm curious what the feedback on this episode is going to be. I wonder if people are going to say, why are you giving a platform to a crazy guy? Or if people are going to say, this is a really important story. I'm glad you told it.
I said, I love the people who watch us, and I love them really more than the ones who don't watch us. But people will have all sorts of opinions. That's what's beautiful. Some people will say A, some people will say X.
Can someone please say that I'm doing a good job and send me a compliment?
Yeah, please, I appeal as his mother.
Did you see Dr.
Have pity on my son.
Did you see the size of Dr. Bear's arms? You can see him on his Twitter page.
Wait a minute, does it mean Sardonicus? You said, did you see Dr. Bear's arms? Do you mean he bears arms?
He bears arms. That's a great thing, Karm. He bears arms. Okay, on to the news schmooze. A new Florida law prohibiting abortion after 15 weeks, with some exceptions, violates religious freedom of rights of Jews, in addition to the state's constitution privacy protections. That is a claim a synagogue is making here in the state of Florida. The lawsuit filed by the congregation Lador Vador of Boynton Beach. What does Lador Vador mean?
Generation to generation.
Contends.
Dor is generation, everybody.
The lawsuit filed by the congregation Lador Vador of Boynton Beach contends that the law that takes effect July 1st here in the state of Florida violates Jewish teachings which state abortion, quote unquote, is required if necessary to protect the health, mental, or physical well-being of the woman and for other reasons. As such, the act prohibits Jewish women from practicing their faith free of government intrusion, and this violates their privacy rights and religious freedom, says the lawsuit filed Friday in Leon County Circuit Court, which is Tallahassee, which is the Dan Markel case. What do you think of this? This is like an about face because Orthodox Jews do not believe in abortion, and now this synagogue, Lador Vador, is saying it's violating.
Who says this is an Orthodox thing?
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it goes contrary to what Orthodox Jews believe. Do you agree with these people at Lador Vador?
Wait a second. Sometimes you have to do an amniotic. Now I'm an expert in this too. Is there anything that I'm not an expert in?
No.
Amniotic fluid tests sometimes have to be done later on than 15th week. Yes, it's probably 16th, 17th week, but
Does it surprise you that a synagogue is filing a lawsuit against an abortion law?
If this is an Orthodox synagogue, then my name is Pietro.
We'll look it up. On to the next story, and there's a reason I picked this story. When reports surfaced in May, just this past May, that the Supreme Court wanted to overturn abortion rights, many wondered how the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg might have responded. Now they don't have to wait. The AI model tries to recreate the mind of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I think they're wrong on the law, but on the facts, no, said a simulation of Ginsburg, who died in 2020 when asked about the Supreme Court's upcoming decision on Roe v. Wade. The answer came not from Ginsburg's numerous court opinions, but an artificial intelligence model of the late justice. Whether it's good or bad, it's settled, and therefore it's not my business to think about it, the RBG robot concluded. This is all based on 27 years of Ginsburg's legal writings on the Supreme Court. Now, this is fascinating for a few reasons. There was an episode on 60 Minutes recently. They have so much tape on a lot of Holocaust survivors, and they shot them in a way that it's almost like a holographic, that they can now go back and ask these Holocaust survivors who are dead their opinions on things. And they're now asking Ruth Bader Ginsburg her opinion on things when she's no longer here. Does it creep you out?
No. I think now you're going to get a very long. Ginsburg.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg. What they were setting up as the information bank was all her legal writings and decisions and so forth. So it was based on the law. Hence, they could predict how she would respond in this case. However, one of a survivor giving an opinion on a dead survivor giving an opinion is, in my perception, totally wrong to be able to think that you are able to predict with artificial intelligence. And I tell you why. I believe absolutely, this is one of the things I believe in life, is that you make, as a human being, you can all your life think A, and tomorrow morning wake up and on the same topic, after thinking about it for 83 years a certain way, I could wake up the next day and think about it completely the opposite. That's the human brain so far.
I'll tell you why.
You understand what
100%
I'm saying?
I understand. I'll tell you why. Why do you think I picked the story?
Because of the guy we had before.
Wrong. I'll tell you why I picked the story.
Oh, gee.
Because we're on episode 63. I'm building up my database of you. You were unable to make it to Podfest in Orlando. I took a cardboard cutout. I tell you, I'm not going to be able to survive when you're no longer here. But now, what my plan is, I'm going to walk around life with your cardboard cutout. I'm going to keep you in my car when you're no longer here. And with artificial intelligence software, I'll be able to ask you questions. And it'll be just like having you here. I once met a woman in Tucson, Arizona, who lived on a nudist colony. And she invited me. She was actually really good looking too. She was a caretaker. Very smart girl. She was working woman. She worked for Coca-Cola. She was from Atlanta originally, and then just said, I'm giving up corporate life, moved to a nudist colony in Tucson. Really good looking, by the way. And she took care of a man named Bill, and he died. And she kept his urn with his ashes in the front seat of her car, just because at the nudist colony, she shared a room, didn't feel comfortable with the ashes there. So everywhere she went, she drove with Bill, with her urn, with his ashes.
Well, I am not going to be cremated. That was done by Hitler. I don't have to repeat that.
But I will have a cardboard cutout of you.
I will be pretty big to put in the backseat dead.
The cardboard cutout folds, and I'll have AI.
I know. I was shocked when I saw it.
By the way, I don't know if you know this. I think I told you. I have saved all of yours and Dad's voicemails for like the last 5 years.
God, this guy is sentimental.
unfortunate. By the way, I put my son's hair in my drawer. We cut his hair this past week.
Oh my God! One hair hericle. What is it? Follicle of hair? Or
Yeah, follicle.
Follicle fell on the ground. You picked it up. And
Sorry, Larry Levin, for correcting my mother. Sorry. Please forgive me. On to the last.
I love you, Larry Levine.
On to the last story. I thought I would lift everyone's spirits since we were talking about really heavy stuff. Preliminary evidence suggests the crash of a China Eastern Airlines jet in March may be the latest such tragedy. A person familiar with the investigation said, if confirmed, it would make it the fourth such case since 2013, bringing the total number of deaths to 554. What are we talking about here? So as aircraft become more reliable and pilots grow less susceptible to errors, fatalities now caused by murder-suicides are becoming an increasingly large share of the total of air passenger deaths. While international acts traditionally aren't included in air crash statistics, they would be the second largest category of deaths worldwide if they were, according to data compiled by Bloomberg. This makes no sense. By comparison, 1,745 people died as a result of pilot error or mechanical failures or other causes on Western-built jets from 2012 to 2021. It's scary, said Malcolm Brenner, a former human behavior investigator with the United States National Transportation Safety Board, who worked on the probe of the 1999 Egypt Air Flight 990, which was found to be an intentional act. It is a major cause of concern. It's one the industry needs to address. So now we don't have to worry about mechanical failure on planes.
Now we have to have a psychological test.
Now we worried about depressed pilots that are intentionally. This happened not long ago in Europe. A pilot crashed into the Swiss Alps. What a way to go.
Well,
anyway.
In Europe, it couldn't crash into the Himalayas.
Just check your pilot. You know what I do? I bring my kids into the cockpit. If they act normal and are nice to my kids, I know we're okay. If
they're always nice before they kill themselves.
Last pilot offered my kids some alcohol. No.